Shalom, everybody. This is Brian Newman from Shalom Dear Hearts. I'm here with Daniel Bertles, who is an admin for Hebrew Hearts, which you guys know is the outreach I founded about 4 years ago. And Daniel does a lot of counseling, a lot of mentoring, especially young men. And we're talking about Raphael's David and just the stages of taking that from a piece of marble to a world-class piece of artwork that is, I think, currently in the Louvre. Just the stages of that and how it's a great lesson about how we perceive ourselves, the point in life we're at. You know, we're not completely perfect yet. We're not completely finished in our minds. And just the life lessons of that. So I was going to let Daniel tell us a little about what you're telling me.
Sure.
About that chiseling process and you know, how we view our self-worth as a comparison to how the Creator does it.
Yeah, so many times we look at ourselves and we criticize who we are, and I'm not where I want to be. Mm-hmm. I'm not where I think I should be. But the reality is that when the artist chose the stone was perfect in its raw form. He wouldn't have chosen that stone if it wasn't perfect where it is. And as he gets the hammer and chisel and he starts to break away some of the stone to start shaping it, even though you can't have any idea what it will be, it is perfect in that stage because it's exactly where the artist took it. And as he keeps working day after day and he starts molding something, in each point, the stone is perfect. It is exactly where it needs to be. Why? Mm-hmm. Because that's where the artist has it at that point in time. Well, in the same way, we are the Father's workmanship. So though we're not some giant, amazing evangelist or what have you, we are perfect where we are because we're stages in a process of forming and carving and shaping. And so that I don't look like Michelangelo's David today, the stone is still going to be Michelangelo's David. Mm-hmm. And so that we can't criticize the fact that we have rough edges. Mm-hmm. We can't criticize or be upset that I'm not the finished product. As long as I'm in the master's hands, as long as he has the chisel and hammer, then there's hope. And I am today exactly what I need to be. Not tomorrow, but today I'm exactly where I need to be. Why? Because he is the one holding the hammer. He is the one holding the chisel. He is the one who has the vision. And he is the one who will make us in his time to be exactly what he has called us to be. Not what we choose, what he chooses. And so we just surrender to him in all of that. So we need to rest in the perfection of the stage that we are at the moment.
So it's today's perfection, because our idea of perfection is always a future tense goal at some point. And if you've attained it, you're perfect. If you're not there yet, you're not perfect, and you'll possibly never be.
Right.
But if you're outside of time, and you see the beginning, and you see the end, and you see the middle, because we only see the middle and the beginning,
right,
then you will see this is exactly where it needs to be today, and tomorrow it can be exactly where it needs to be tomorrow.
Yes.
But you don't measure yourself by what you will be in 10 years. You measure yourself by, am I where I need to be today?
Yes.
And if I'm not, am I in the process
right
of conforming to who I need to be today?
Yes.
So we're like this half-formed piece of statue, and we're looking across at all the other finished statues who've possibly had 10 or 20 more years of advanced work on them.
Yes.
And we're just comparing ourselves to people that have been worked on for longer periods of time.
Exactly.
Like new believers always compare themselves to people who have been believers 20 years.
Right.
Or we're just comparing ourselves to, our standard is not the person we're going to be in 10 years.
Right.
Our standard is the person we're supposed to be today, and if we're conforming to that or not.
Yes.
Because perfection in our mind is a state of being.
Yes.
But sometimes it's a verb in like biblical thought.
Yes.
Like righteousness is not a future tense thing you will be one day. Righteousness is are you in process?
Yes.
Or are you not in process?
Yes.
If you were submitting to process, you're righteous.
Yes.
If you're not submitting to process, you're not righteous.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. And that's what we fuss and we bother and we worry so much in life because we don't compare to someone else. And even if someone has been a believer for a certain period of time, well, our path is different. And so we can't even judge. They were a believer 20 years ago, and I might be a believer 20 years ago. But my path is his path. And so it's that work in us that makes us perfect. It is not the end goal. As long as we have breath, as long as we are saying yes, and I even dare say the day we are resistant is still part of that process of perfection, because he will keep the chisel working. And some of that resistance helps ingrain his work in us even more. Because once we finally do let go, then we might let go even more and further in the right time for the right situations. The idea is we have to stop criticizing ourselves, and we need to be thanking him that we are his workmanship. We are responsible to him, and he is responsible to his work in us. And that's where we walk.
Exactly. And it's like cars. You're like, can be like this automotive plant, and you might be made to be some kind of race car.
Yes.
But you're sitting staring at this truck, because somehow what you grew up in and everyone around you has convinced you have to be a pickup truck, and a great pickup truck to have value.
Yes.
So there's like, where the stage I'm at now, I don't have a lot of towing capacity?
Yes.
I don't think I can pull something very far. I'm not very high off the ground. I'm really going to suck at being a truck, and I'm not going to have much value.
Yes.
Because we see this truck over here, and that seems to be the standard we were given.
Yes.
And this seems to be the goal we have to go.
Right.
But as further we progress, you look less and less and less like a truck as the day goes by. And you're freaking out. It's like, I'll never be this truck. And you don't have any concept that you're supposed to be a race car. Because what makes a truck great makes a terrible race car.
Yes.
What makes a great race car makes a terrible truck.
Right.
And a Porsche's not going to drag a tree very far.
Right.
And a truck's not going to go very fast, because the bigger it is, the more big engine it has, the slower it's going to move.
Yes.
Generally. So you're comparing yourself to something you're never meant to be to begin with.
Exactly. And that's the thing. That's our problem, is we compare ourselves to things that we think we should be. But if I'm his workmanship, I will end up in his time being who he wants me to be. Not who I think I should be, but who he wants me to be.
It's like the potter and the clay. We're demanding to be a truck when you're not made to be a truck, but you're just demanding it.
Yes. Yes.
And at this stage in the process, you're a car in process for 5 months. To stop and make you a truck is going to be a big giant mess.
Yes.
But you'll never even comprehend the destiny you were meant for.
Right.
Because you spent your whole life trying to be this other thing over here.
Yes.
Like if you're in denominations get started this way. Well, if you're an evangelist, you become a Baptist. You're a prophet, you become a Church of God. Yeah. If you're your teacher, you become this. Well, your denomination usually has a certain gifting, one out of the 5 ministry callings, and it was founded by someone with that calling, and everyone in that church has to conform to the gifting of the pastor, or you're spiritually useless.
Right.
We're told we're spiritually useless. That's the Nicolaitan system.
Yes.
Those dominate the lay people. It's like, well, you're here. If you're an evangelist, or useless. You're a teacher, or you're useless. You're a prophet, or useless. Because we're modeling after someone else. But people aren't given the freedom.
Yes.
Jesus said, I hate the deeds of Nicolaitans. And they didn't give the people the freedom to become who God made them to be.
Right.
Like Nimrod, they said, you're all bricks, going to build my tower the way I want it, instead of being living stones, which make a temple of God. Right. So you got to be a brick or a living stone, but all bricks are in the same mold.
Yes.
All living stones are different.
Right.
But we can't conform to the pastor or the church environment of what they expect. They expect an evangelist of the Baptist. They expect a prophet of this, a teacher of that. But we can't conform to that, because you got to. If the manufacturer wants you to be a race car, the best thing you can do for the world, and for you, and for everyone you care about, is to be a race car.
Yes.
And the worst thing you can do is try to be something else.
Yes.
Because we are judged based on what we give, what we do, but also what we don't do. So if God has laid out certain things for you to do in your life, certain good deeds like an axe, then He's also designed you in a certain way to be able to accomplish those good deeds no one else can do.
Right.
So a race car is designed to do race car things. If a race car is trying to do truck things, you're hurting everyone around you
Yes.
because you're not doing the race car things you're meant to do,
Right.
and you suck at being a truck.
Yep. Yep.
So it's like the statue. The most beautiful thing a statue can do is conform to being a statue instead of trying to be a painting.
Right.
So it's not going to make a very good painting.
Yeah.
But it's to conform to who he's in the process of making you to become is the best thing you can do for the world. Because to try to be something else will rob everyone around you
Right.
of what you're meant to be. Like a
Right,
doctor's
right.
trying to be a mechanic.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All these sick people are going to suffer,
Right.
and the cars won't get fixed very well either.
And the reality is, we don't know what we are going to become.
Mm-hmm.
So when we start forcing a direction,
Yes.
rather than resting in the Master's hands, rather than thanking Him that I am His workmanship and that He is working on me, when I'm at that point, then I can rejoice and rest. The anxiety and the stress we bring upon ourselves because
break
we
ourselves.
think we should be this when He is calling us to be that,
Yes.
and He is forming us to be that. So we are hurting our own growth when we are trying to be something that He's not intending, and there is no way that we know what He is intending unless we're resting in Him.
And you're waiting for instruction instead of
Yes.
resisting.
Yes.
Shalom means perfect order, but
Yes.
it's destroying the theoretical case. But shalom is when you're in perfect alignment with the blueprint, the creator, like the mechanical drafter.
Yes.
You're in engineering, you understand all the mechanics and the drafting. And the mechanical drafter has a design for how this car is supposed to be made. And when that car is in perfect alignment with the assembly process, it has shalom with the manufacturer.
Yes. Yes.
But if it's bucking the alignment, bucking the design, trying to be something else, it doesn't have the blueprint to do that.
Right.
It's just trying to pick this up and that up, and it sounds like Johnny Cash's song "One Piece at a Time" by the time you're done with it.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of shalom, it's chaos.
Yes.
And the word for death is mud. It's meme and tough. It's covenant with chaos. So shalom or peace is complete alignment with the manufacturer's design, and death results when you have chaos. Though
Yes.
chaos results in death.
Yes.
So you're going towards peace every day, or you're going towards some kind of chaos every day. But you're creating one or the other.
Yes.
And when you're in alignment with what the Creator designed you to do,
Right.
you're creating shalom. When you're
Yes.
bucking the system, you're creating chaos.
Well, and the difference between peace and chaos is that one is resting. You're resting in His presence and His actions and His workmanship.
You still have movement.
Yes, but I'm
It's an
I'm in His arms, and He's the one who's taking
Movement,
me.
yeah.
Where
He's the author of the movement.
Yes, and as opposed to the chaos where I'm fighting to be who I think I should be, rather than resting in who He is making me with the hammer and the chisel. So the true difference is the rest and the chaos is in His hands or in our own hands. And I don't want to be in my own hands.
It's like a caterpillar trying to bust out the cocoon early to become a better worm.
Yeah.
He has no concept of the way it's supposed to do. He's
Right.
Let me bust out of this cocoon, a half-formed
He
thing
has no idea
with some dubs on its back.
of his potential. He has no idea, this is what I'm supposed to be.
A better worm.
Yeah.
I'll be like a worm over there.
Yes, but it's when we truly understand and walk in His ways and trust His ways, that's when we see the wings come out, and that's the awesome place to be. But it really starts with us accepting His hand in our lives rather than fighting and being who we don't want to be, who we want to be.
Yes.
I want to every day be who He wants me to be.
Exactly.
And a part of that, the biggest part of that, is accepting where I am today is perfect because He's the one doing the working, not me.
And could you say a real quick prayer for the people watching?
Yes.
Do that.
Father, I just pray that You would bless those watching this, that they would know what it's like to rest in the Father's hands, to have confidence in the work and ways and will of the Father, and that they would truly be anxious for nothing, no anxiety, no worry, no chaos, trying to be something that other people want us to be or what we want or think we should be. But instead we would just truly say, Father, Thy will be done, and You know what you are working in us. We pray this in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, our King and our Messiah. Amen.
You guys. Shalom to your hearts.